Hi, my name is Jennifer Kubetta. I'm the director of UBRP, and I'm here to give you some information on preparing for the UBRP conference. First things first, to prepare, make sure you have your poster printed on time. Try not to wait till the last minute because sometimes there can be troubles that come up. I would also recommend to prepare that you practice 3 levels of talks for different levels of people. So the first group I would say is experts in your field. This might be your own faculty mentor or maybe another faculty in your department. I would also practice a talk that's slightly different for a science savvy group of people. So, maybe a fellow science major or someone else who is a faculty member, but maybe in a different department, someone who knows about science but doesn't know about your particular field. And then 3, definitely not least, maybe last but not least, practice a talk that you could give to someone from the general public, a lay person, someone who doesn't have a science background at all. So I like to say, think about your grandmother or maybe a younger brother or sister. That can help you get an idea of whom you can prepare for. And finally, check with your mentor about things you should say and shouldn't say, especially if you were doing work that is related to proprietary issues. You don't want to say certain things to the public. So just check with your mentor about that. Okay, the day of the conference, a couple of things. So make sure you dress in business casual clothing. Arrive on time at 8 a.m. if at all humanly possible, maybe even a little earlier. The conference doesn't start until 8:30, but you want to be ready. We will have all the stuff you need to put up your poster. So we'll have tacks and sticky tack and things like that. But sometimes it's not as easy as one might think to actually put up a poster on a wall. So I encourage all of you in the same room to help each other put up your posters. There's power in numbers, and certainly more arms are very helpful when putting these things up. Okay, so the way it's going to work at the conference is when we have our poster sessions, we will have 2 separate hours that students will present, and it will be based on the number of your poster. So if your poster number is odd, then you're going to be in the first slot presenting at 9:30. If you're an even number poster, then you will be presenting at 10:30. This way you have time not only to give your own presentations for your poster, but also you have time to see everyone else's poster, which is really cool. All right, here's the meat of the talk here. There are certain tips that I would like to give you for presenting your poster, and there are 3 main ones that you see here. The first thing is to know your audience. So the audience for the UBRP conference is really broad. There's a lot of people from a lot of different places, and they're not all going to be easily identifiable. So whoever shows up at your poster could be a dean, they could be your best friend's mom, they could be someone from the Arizona Daily Wildcat. They could be an elected official. They could be someone from Roche who's here to check out what students are doing. There's a lot of different people. So be aware that they are going to come from everywhere, and don't assume who you're talking to. You should definitely get to know them. So the way that I suggest that you engage with your visitors is when someone shows up, first things first, say hello and smile. And then just invite them to look at your poster. You can say, here's my poster. Feel free to browse. Just let me know if you have any questions. And a lot of times that makes people feel more at ease because they don't feel like, you're pouncing on them. So you can start with that. You can also simply find out from visitors what they know about your topic first. So you can say, hi, my project is about, neuroscience, or this is a biomedical engineering project. Have you heard of antioxidants? Have you heard of, Alzheimer's? Are you familiar with this particular thing? You can say things like that to kind of get a sense of, what a person knows. And then once you have a sense of what they know, the good thing is that if you've prepared for your 3 levels of audiences, then you know kind of which talk to give. If, you say, hey, are you familiar with, this particular disease? And the person goes, oh yeah, I work on that in my lab. Then you know how to talk about it. If you say that and the person goes, yeah, I've kind of heard of it. I'm not really sure though. Then you can kind of give a talk, again, for your grandmother or your younger sibling. I would also suggest that you have a common analogy ready to describe your research in case you get someone from the general public. This is especially in the case of something that the general public may not be terribly familiar with. So an example of that is if you work on let's say you're in a biochemistry lab and you focus your work on a certain protein. You might say, hey, do you know about proteins? Someone from the general public might be like, yeah, I love steak. I like chicken. They may not be jiving on the same level as you in terms of talking about proteins. And so if you start talking about things that are not, something that's very common to the public, then it would be nice to have an analogy ready. You can say something like, well, I study these particular proteins, and the way that they interact is sort of like, how a toaster works. You have the toast and you have the toaster, and, they fit together, and after a certain time, it pops up or, whatever, but you can have some kind of analogy like that helps someone kind of understand what's going on. And then finally, I would say, be confident. You are going to know more about this topic than practically everyone else there at the conference, with the exception of the people from your lab and probably your faculty mentors as well and their colleagues. But other than that, you're going to know a lot. So, take some comfort in that, and realize too that it's okay to not know everything. Someone may come up to you and ask you some very deep questions, and you may not know the answers. And if that's the case, then you can field them as best as you can. But also, it is perfectly okay to say, I don't know, but I can find out for you. If you give me your contact information, I'll be happy to let you know. That is a perfectly reasonable response. Okay, so once you've presented your poster, make sure you also get to visit your peers' posters as well. Like I said, there's a lot of people who are going to be coming to the conference. So, network, talk to deans, talk to other faculty mentors, talk to people from the media. You might be able to make some really good connections. And then just as a quick directive, when it's time to move on to the closing remarks, do come down for our closing remarks, because that's our recognition portion. And we have a lot of cool celebrations to do as far as recognizing people. So come down for that, leave your poster up, and then you can come and get it at the end of the conference. So that is how things are going to work. And if you have more questions, then feel free to let me know. Okay, I look forward to seeing you at the conference. Thanks.